Both the Ministry for Primary Industries and the industries themselves got somewhat of a wake-up call after the release of the PSA report. Since then, a number of industry groups have been calling for more communication from the Ministry.
Although we have offered time and time again to be involved in the process and to help them be more up to date with the risks, we've had very little, if nothing, really ever asked or requested from us in that regard.
But they've been met by a somewhat defensive Ministry.
Not only the Ministry should be talking to the industry, but it's the industry who should be talking to the Ministry.
There was certainly a communication breakdown between Hort NZ and the Ministry for Primary Industries over issues surrounding biosecurity, which culminated in Carter giving a cold warning to Hort NZ at its latest conference in July.
If your board continues what is an ill-informed crusade, it runs the risk of lowering the credibility of horticulture New Zealand to government and to government departments. And ladies and gentlemen, that is not a risk that should be taken lightly.
The case in point, however, has to be the communication breakdown between the Ministry and the beekeeping industry, in which beekeepers were upset when they found out from the PSA report that pollen was being imported into the country without their knowledge, an act that could have threatened the entire industry. According to the Minister, they were aware of it.
Well, I would have thought the bee industry was well aware that pollen was coming into the country. They were involved as an essential part of the kiwi fruit industry. It was well known within the industry that pollen was being imported.
But industry leaders say this is rubbish.
Nobody, if that had happened, we would have stopped it because of the risk of bringing bacteria and viruses in that pollen, because there's a MAF paper published by MAF that says that pollen as a vector can carry viruses and bacteria. So there's absolutely no way as an industry we would have approved that at all.
Well, all I can say is it wasn't well known that it was being imported. And we as a stakeholder need to be told of these things for future things that come in that they'd like to import that could pose a risk.
So who isn't communicating enough? Leading Professor of Agriculture Jacqueline Rowith says the blame lies with both sides and, to a degree, no side.
To say we weren't told, I think, is not sensible. And in exactly the same way, if the primary industries say they should have asked, again, that is not sensible. It is a matter of communication, but the question is, who gets time to look for things?
She says the answer to opening the conduits to communication lies in employing more scientists.
I certainly think that when Peter Gluckman said all the ministries should have chief scientific advisors in, and that those scientific advisors should have call on experienced scientists, experience in different areas, and bring them in when necessary, he was absolutely right.
Of course, primary industries and their ministry have a common goal. The last thing either want is for our biosecurity to go completely to the dogs. But primary industry spokesman for the Labour Party, Damien O'Connor, says it can't be a master-servant relationship.
We need to make sure that information is shared, that the sectors like beekeeping have a chance to have input, that the Ministry of Primary Industries don't arrogantly just dictate what should go on. They have to listen more to the industry sectors.
John Watson, Auckland, Country 99 TV News.